NAFTA podcast.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
NAFTA podcast, we're back. Back-to-back recording days. This time it's just Michael and myself. We're here to break down Champions League. Champions. First time in a long time.
Should've got Nick to do this with you.
Yeah, it's true. Nick's probably feeling doubly salty. He did call me out for not having a team preview for Man United. Oh, well. But I was just about to say, first time in a long time, Liverpool not in the Champions League. Michael, how you doing, dude?
Tough. I'm great. Listen, I'm on the clock. Morgan's not too happy about double recording 2 days in a row.
Well, all right. Sorry. So no small talk, I guess?
No, I was just kidding.
Yeah.
Just trying to make a joke.
I wanted to ask, how was your soccer match last night?
So we had to play. Oh, we didn't actually have to play a person down. We thought we had to play a girl down because you have to play 2 girls, 4 guys, and then a goalie. We picked up a girl from another team after she had just finished playing. She was
been there.
Outrageously good. Yeah.
Yep, been there too.
We're also missing some people, but I'm obviously a super sub. I come on, I do some running, I find the guy who's hurting everybody, and I go try to hurt him back because he's being a dick.
Yep.
We kind of got pumped a little bit. We got a 2-2 draw, which was worth it because we were all gassed. But
yeah,
I was just taking like 10-yard shots to the legs, to the chest, to the arms. So my goalie didn't have to work too hard.
Who was your goal? You didn't play goal? No.
I played the field. The goalie, I don't know what his name is. He's pretty good though. He's also just like really big.
Great teammate.
Well, I'm strictly, if they call me, I show up. I don't go every week.
And you do.
So I don't know any motherfucker's name.
You do Batman services where you just said if someone's picking on someone else, you go and pick on that person. I as well feel like I do that on my team too. So
there was this one kid that was just like first of all, I'm sure you know this. There are not fouls. Like there are very rarely ever like straight up fouls. Yeah. Oh, and indoor like co-ed, there are just not fouls. Like you're not allowed to slide, you can't do that shit, but no one really does, the things you're not allowed to do.
Do you guys do walls or no? Is it the open field?
Yeah. It's all there's walls and everything. But
gotcha.
Like, grappling, like pushing a little bit, they don't ever call it. This kid legitimately got a foul because he like lowered his shoulder into somebody. So then it just became my goal that every time we were together, I was just fucking just elbowing, just pop, 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 every single time. Just letting him have it.
I'm a big, on our team, I was a big fan of tactical fouls. We don't like to get back on D. So anytime you can just clip an ankle in the midfield and get everyone back, big fan of that.
You're a monster.
You're a monster. Do it all the time.
See, this is like not a tactical foul type of of league.
Yeah.
But because like indoor it's so confined that like it really is like you just got to kind of skip past everybody and like on God defending, just don't jump in on somebody and just make them shoot on the tiny goal with the big goalie in the goal.
You're a big fan of saying contained defense doesn't work. The only time it does work is on like 5-a-side 77 indoor soccer. Like just don't dive in. Just stay in front of your guys, stay in front of the ball, and it usually works out.
Contained defense, like think about it, right? In football, American football, when is it the hardest to get yards? The closer you are to the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
Right? That's why when people get on the 10-yard line, they're like, oh my God, they just went 70 yards down the field. They got to go 10 more. This will be easy. And then they go 3 and out and they kick a field goal. Same thing with indoor soccer.
It's a lot of butthole puckering for sure.
For sure.
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Yeah.
You didn't give me a chance.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. I did need to vent to someone, as a lot of people on the podcast know. I'm running the New York Marathon in November. Been crushing it, doing really, really well, keeping up with my running. I did fuck my knee up at my soccer game and haven't played since, but been doing really, really well. Michael, I do have to tell you, you're the first person I'm telling this to. I had a bad day today.
Yeah. What happened?
I was really, really hungry, and I didn't have to run today, and I just wanted to eat. I just ate. I've been doing really well, but I just had a bad day, so I just had to tell you that, dude.
So you want to know the trick?
What's that?
On this, so I guess Mother and maybe Barb, close your ears.
Yeah.
When I was in Georgia, and I would work like 50 hours in the week. So when I was done Friday, I would get back and I would like get home, run. I would get up in the morning, go work out, and then run when I got back, and then walk the dog. And by that time, I was like, well, I got to get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, so time to go to bed. When Friday hit and I didn't have anything to do Saturday, Sunday, I would get home, do my run. I would usually do a really long run, and then I would go get an entire pizza from Pizza Hut or somewhere and get high and eat it all and play video games.
Hey, life's about balance. I did not get high.
I was just saying, I would be like, I don't even have to do this workout, but because I want to eat this whole ass pizza, and I've been good all the other days, I'm gonna go do a run and then eat the pizza.
That is why I don't feel as bad. Been very, very good. What was your pizza place of choice?
Well, so there it was. I think it was called like Lilburn Italian Pizza or whatever, and they would make like 12-inch or 14-inch pizzas, and it was like basically the same price as like a Little Caesars or Pizza Hut.
Yeah. And
I was like, it's just way better. Like it's
you basically were just smashing hot and readies essentially.
Yeah, except this was way better quality than a hot and ready.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, so I had a bad day. Had to tell someone, figured the podcast was the best place to do it. What we are going to talk about, though, is the Champions League. Going to give you a little bit of a preview, give you our thoughts. Like I said, Liverpool out, not in it for the first time in a while. Man City won it last year. Can they repeat? A lot of interesting groups, a group of death for sure. I think I noticed a group that, does anyone really care who wins this one and who loses this one? I think there's a group like that, too. But we're going to jump right into it. Michael, Group A. And this is the group that Nick would contribute the most if he was on this podcast. Group A, you got Bayern Munich, champions of Germany. You got FC Copenhagen. You got Galatasaray. And you got Manchester United. Manchester United is going to open it up with Bayern. And then Galatasaray and Copenhagen are going head-to-head in match week 1. Dude, what are you thinking about this group? Where do you see teams finish? Who are you excited to watch? Does Harry Kane go back into old form and beat the shit out of his former Premier League foes?
I don't see a lot of movement in how you just listed it down there. I think...
No way. No.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah. I think FC Copenhagen. You said it right the first time, then you said Copenhagen after that.
Same place.
Sorry. Yeah, I guess. You got me last pod for a pronunciation, so I had to return. Galatasaray, I think the only one that can fight for that second spot. You're a way bigger proponent of the Turkish league than I am.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should fluctuate between. It's kind of unforgivable if Man U do not finish second in this group, because I don't think they'll finish first. I think Bayern will, and they should finish second. But if they don't, it's not the end of the world. I don't think there's any it's 50-50. I think they're definitely the favorites to finish second, and I think Copenhagen is pretty happy to be there if they pick up some points, maybe drop into Europa League. That would be a pretty big deal for them.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's really interesting because, like, you want to be, in my head, I want to be gracious to other teams, but then I get to play the game on the other foot where it's like, I think the Premier League's the best league in the world, and you can't really, do those things together. I do think going away to Galatasaray is going to be tough. Like, Turkish fans are just kind of fucking wild and crazy, and there's going to be flares, and there's going to be trash, and there's going to be, like, whatever. And on top of that, like, Galatasaray is essentially the land of misfit toys for, like, older players now. They got Icardi, they got Saha, they got, a few other people that on the top of my brain, on the top of my cranium's not coming to me right now. And, like, Man United, as we just talked about yesterday, and we've been talking about here in our normal Premier League podcast, not starting the hottest. Eric Ten Heisenberg does not look that great right now.
Brother, they got Davinson Sanchez.
Mm-hmm.
They got Tenga and Ndombele.
Mm-hmm. Just got him.
And they got Hakeem Ziyech.
Yep. That's the one I was thinking that I was like, I know there's another big name there. It's an interesting team. Like, if they do finish second, I wouldn't be surprised. I do feel like if Man United finish third, there's going to be a really wild Europa League coming, essentially. Like, I think that'll be a stacked pack. But I'm with you. If you're a Man United fan, if you're a fan of soccer, you got to assume Man United's favorite to finish second. Bayern's got to take the top spot. Galatasaray is going to Europa League. And how you just said, Copenhagen, they're just happy to be here, man. They're just happy to be part of the
Absolutely. Anthem. Let me just finish this off, though. Dries Mertens.
Yep.
Lucas Torreira.
Yep.
And somebody that you'll be very familiar with, Angelino.
Absolutely. Angelino taking his talents to Turkey. Look, it's one of those, it's a FIFA team that only I would create. I think you don't really do this too often. I love going into FIFA and being like, who are the old guys that people said were washed up and can't play anymore? And I'm going to have them have a great season. That's the type of storyline I like. Love the team like this. So I'm rooting for Galatasaray for sure. For sure.
Sounds good. We're both on Copenhagen last, right?
Yeah, just happy to be here.
Okay, perfect. All right, Group B will set off another Premier League team in that one. We got Arsenal. You can correct my pronunciation on this because I don't know shit about French or France or anything. Lens? Is that right?
Long? I think it's long.
Long? Okay, long, whatever. PSV and then Sevilla. Arsenal opening with PSV, and then Sevilla and Lens are opening together as well. Where do you see this one finishing?
Look, I'm going to start with an opening statement. One, I figured out, I was on a long run the other day, and I figured out how you need to talk about fandom. You have your team. That's number one. That's your team. Your team's Liverpool, my team's Man City, right? You got your team. Then you can like other teams. They're not your team, but you can like them. It's like, I like Sevilla. Like, I like Sevilla. I don't like saying they're my second favorite anymore. Fuck that shit. It's, I got my team, and I like other teams. And just like when you're in middle school and you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever, like, that can ebb and flow. Like, I like Anderlecht. Sometimes I don't like Anderlecht. This is a hill I'm going to die on this season for sure. So I like Sevilla. I'm never going to not like Sevilla. We're in a steady relationship. I'll say that. But one thing I will say is I like being realistic with my relationships. I think Sevilla needs to hope they finish last. I think that they need, because they're bad. And no Sergio Ramos getting introduced today in full uniform with his wife and kids. It looks so weird when they do that. Like, just put the top on and get some jeans on and get out there. Like, they're bad this year, Michael. Like, they're really bad. I've watched all 3 games. They need to focus on the league. They got 0 points. They can't get relegated. That would be really, really bad. I know that people are going to be boo, boo, tomato, tomato. Get them third, have them go to the Europa League so they can win it again. That's not happening this year. They need to hope they finish last. To that point, I definitely have Arsenal number 1. I definitely have the United States of Eindhoven at number 2. And I got Lens at 3 going into the Europa League, or however you say it. I'll ask Amelie. I'm going to hang out with her tomorrow. She's French. So that's my top. What about you?
Arsenal at the top. PSV number 2. I think that's pretty much a lock with how Sevilla are currently playing. Bro, French league, not a good league.
Very much.
Just gonna say it. Not a good league. I got Sevilla 3rd. They're not gonna win the Europa League this year. They will go to the Europa League though. They turn it on. How they're playing in the league right now is not maximum capacity Sevilla. They will find a maximum capacity form of Sevilla in this tournament at some points. I don't think it's going to be enough to get them through the Champions League because that's not the type of team they are. They are a Europa League till we die sort of team. But they will get 3rd, and Lens will be in last.
Look, I don't disagree with you. I will say this, though. As bad as the French league is, Sevilla has played worse. They're literally in last place in La Liga. Lens finished 2nd, I think, in the French league last year. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they did. Don't be surprised if they finish 3rd and go to Europa too. That bottom 3-4 can be split either or. Group C, dude, I'm excited to watch this group. Actually, there's one team, take them or leave them, but I'm excited for the other 3. The team that you can take or leave is Braga. Sorry, Portuguese fans and Portugal League and whatever. I'm not into it. It's whatever. It is what it is. I know they have a 6 stadium. It's like in a crater, essentially. Go look it up if you haven't. Braga, pretty sick stadium. But then you got Real Madrid. Then you got Napoli. And then you got Union Berlin, as they say. Braga and Napoli will open it up. Union and Real Madrid will play their first match against each other. How do you see this one shaking out? What are you excited to see there?
Well, if anybody at all is paying attention to La Liga, this Real Madrid team look scary. That midfield diamond that they're cooking up there is they're not even playing with Vinicius right now. He's hurt. They got a lot of injuries. I think Courtois, obviously, I think he's out for the year, right? That's why they got Kepa.
Yeah, I believe so.
And then they lost Militao or one of the defenders. I can't remember. They still look really fucking good. Let's not forget, this is absolutely Real Madrid's competition. Even when they're bad, they win sometimes.
True. Don't poke the bear.
Yeah. Napoli, obviously, at their peaks last year during the group stage were pretty unbelievable. Sure. I think we're set. Portuguese League, Braga, probably going to be last in this group. This is a tough group. I think we want to think that Union Berlin is better than they are. I think it could be kind of close, but I also think Napoli, I think there's going to be some ebb and flow there. I think there's going to be some returning to the mean. I think Real Madrid win this group, and then I'm going to say Napoli, Union, Braga, but I think Napoli and Union could switch.
Yeah. I think there's 2 battles, obviously. It's Napoli, Madrid, it's Union, and Braga. I'm going to take Union at 3rd just because I think they've played better competition. They got some interesting guys. I'm hoping they're going to make it through. I agree that Napoli's probably going to return a little bit to the mean. I think that's definitely going to happen. It's already started. I think they drew or they lost to Lazio already in Serie A. But, and I know I just said it, don't poke the bear. That back 4 of Real Madrid is not very good. And I don't think it's going to matter in the group stage. Obviously, they're going to get through. I think they actually top the group, which sucks. I think Napoli will make it close, but I think they top the group. I think it's Real Madrid, Napoli, Union, Braga. But I think, and this is exactly when they hit you and they win another one, I think this is an earlier exit in knockouts for this team because I just think that defense with Alaba, Rudiger, Carvajal, and they're playing Francisco Garcia a lot there, 24-year-old. I see the weakness in my opinion. So, that's my
Yeah,
thoughts.
I think the thing is, though, is, again, that midfield is so insanely crazy. I mean,
For sure.
Valverde, so Modric, Valverde, Camavinga, Cruz, Brahim Diaz is there, Bellingham, obviously, Tchouaméni, and then you have,
Modric.
I said, it was the first one I said.
Is he? Sorry.
Yeah. You think that right now, Mendy's hurt, obviously. Militao, I think he's out for the year too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They also have January. That
True.
you're
Very
predicting you're predicting a little bit. You're doing more than the
Early.
homework. Yeah, than the homework
Required.
asked
Yeah.
you to do. Yeah. You gotta
I know.
just. I think for the purposes right now, they're gonna be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I don't. I can see a world where that's true. I think part of my brain is going, hey, don't be surprised if, and I don't need to do that right now.
Yeah. All right. So the next group. Sorry, I fucking straight up forgot, and I was all the way on the Real Madrid page, so I'm like
My guy-
not close to
My guy
these groups
straight up,
anymore.
my guy straight up McConnelled himself.
My bad. Wait 1 second.
Group D.
Okay. Group D, we got Benfica out of Portugal, Inter out of Italy, Real Sociedad out of Spain. Almost forgot. And then Salzburg is where again? Austria?
Austria, my guy.
Good job. Good
It's
job.
all right. Back-to-back Geography B champion. I got you covered.
Sorry. You did get out on restaurant in the spelling bee though, so everyone has their strengths. So
Yeah.
I think this group, obviously, if you're looking strictly at who has, let's go like this: who has won the league in their respective countries or tables or whatever.
Yeah.
I think Benfica did a couple years ago, like once. Inter, obviously, a couple years ago. Real Sociedad, definitely not recently. And then Salzburg, I'm pretty sure they are pretty close to winning. If not, they win most of the time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
The teams that are winning, you'd think Italian league pretty good. Inter probably the best team because they've most recently been at that top. This, honestly, could go so many different ways, in my opinion. I think Salzburg are kind of sneaky. Real Sociedad are not a bad team at all. They're competing with three giants in Spain all the time. Inter, obviously, I think is going to be your safe pick. But if you want to get a little crazy, Benfica have been in the Champions League a lot. They've been deep in the rounds. They've progressed through. I think this could go a bunch of different ways. Do you want to give me your insight before we predict it?
Yeah, for sure. I also want to mention Michael likes to always mention that my phonics were hooked on. I think 1-2 in this is really simple, if I'm being honest. I think 1-2 in this is really simple, and then I think 3 and 4 is going to be a battle. I think Inter moves on to the top. I do think there's a chance Benfica could move on at the top too, but I think Benfica gets you 2. I just think they create talent somehow. They find talent. They are going to sell that talent the next year for $60 million and then get some other guys to replace them. They are the international version of Brighton and Hove Albion. I think Salzburg themselves are like every other Red Bull team. They're super ambitious. They win their league all the time too. I think they get third, and I think Sociedad actually is kind of taking a step back this year. I think La Liga is not very good, to be honest with you. This season, I'm fully prepared to eat some crow, but I think Sociedad finished 4th. I think Salzburg get 3rd. I'll go Benfica 2. I'll go Inter 1.
All right, I'm gonna go Benfica 1.
Yeah,
because
that makes sense.
I think they translate a little bit better to the type of competition. I think that their midfield and their attacking options, you have João Mauro, you have Gonzalo Guedes, you have David Neres, who had some funny shit to say about Ten Hag this couple days ago. And then I think that midfield too, like Florentino Luis was a really good double pivot with Enzo. Angel Di Maria's there again. Chiquinho, we'll see. I honestly think it's kind of weird. I think they just want it more.
Yeah.
And I think Inter kind of always disappoint a little bit. I'm going to go Benfica, Inter, Sociedad, Salzburg.
I actually think that Benfica is the type of team that slander we just mentioned about Braga, they use that as bulletin board material. Like, they're just like,
For sure.
no
Braga,
one believes in no one believes in the Portuguese league, like that type of stuff.
I don't think Braga have a bulletin board.
No, they carve it in the stone in the side of their stadium. Definitely go look it up, like I said. I just realized you get the group of death. I get Group E, which is Atleti, everyone's least favorite team except for my buddy Ramiro, Celtic, Feyenoord, Lazio. I mentioned that there was a group that I think most people could give a shit about. For me, this is it. I don't really care about any of these teams. Sorry to my Celtic friend Christian, if he ever listens to this. But I think this is kind of just an abortion of a group, to be quite frank with you. I think Atleti finishes first. I think Lazio probably finished second. I want to put Celtic third just because I said I have a friend who is a Celtic fan and I have no ties to Feyenoord. But I think the Scottish League's real bad. Real bad. And I think Feyenoord finished third, Celtic finished fourth. And honestly, that's all I got.
This is a guarantee number 1 spot, Atletico Madrid.
Yeah. But it'll be boring as shit. It'll be so boring.
Yeah, it won't be exciting.
It'll be 4 wins, 2 draws, and 4 goals scored with like none conceded type shit.
Yeah, I was trying to think of how that math would work out, but it would just be all 1-0s and then 2 0-0s.
And 0-0s, yeah. Yeah.
That would be actually pretty insane if they didn't give up a goal over 6 games.
It'd be wildly impressive.
But
sure.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, and I don't even think Lazio are particularly that good, even though they did just beat Napoli. They're also that was their first win in Serie A. Man, I'll tell you what, you are. I'm throwing darts for this next one because I would tend to go Feyenoord here. Celtic did just go to the Ibrox and beat Rangers 1-0. They did have 2 goals disallowed, Rangers. But still, like that is one of the things where I think going to Glasgow is like pretty insane regardless either way. So like Feyenoord going there, I don't see like Feyenoord getting points. I don't even particularly see Lazio getting points there, or maybe just a draw, where Celtic could be sneaky enough to get into that 3rd spot. I think if they get second, that would be massive. As a Rangers fan, I have to respect the Scottish League because I said it like 2 years back and I refuse to go back on anything I ever said. So I'm going to go Atleti, Lazio, Celtic, Feyenoord.
I will say this. By the transitive property of leagues, meaning Feyenoord's in the same league as PSV, Celtic's in the same league as Rangers, PSV did just tallywhack Rangers 5-1.
So true. Not at Ibrox, though.
Not at
They
Ibrox.
tied them. 2-2.
Yeah, true. Very true. I'll stick with mine. Atleti, Lazio, Rangers. Atleti, Lazio,
Rangers.
Feyenoord, Celtic. It's just a shit group, to be honest. It's just a shit group.
It's really not fun, which is a perfect transition to the group that it will be very, very, very fun.
Yes.
We got Milan of the AC variety. We have Borussia Dortmund. We have Newcastle United. And then we have PSG. John, I'll let you go first.
Hot take. I'm not going to reveal my total group yet. PSG does not top this group. They have in the past. They've had the talent to do it in the past. They would have been a lock, I think a lot of people would think, to do it in the past. They do not top this group. I think Newcastle are going to be playing in a European competition after this group is done. Put it that way. I don't know which one it is yet, but I know they're going to be in one of them, so they're not bottoming out on this group. I'll tell you what I think. I think you got Milan at 1. I think you got PSG at 2. I think you got Newcastle at 3 by the slimmest of margins, because I do think there's a lot of talent there, but I do think the squad depth with what we talked about yesterday on the pod comes into play. I think Borussia Dortmund finished dead last in this group. And I don't think that's going to be a popular opinion, but I do think that's where the talent lies. And then if Newcastle go third and United go third, you have a very jam-packed English Europa League, which will be interesting.
I'll start with the thing that you just said. Borussia Dortmund do finish last in this group.
Yeah.
I think they look very thin right now, and they look weak. And again, this is if we're talking back end, they could figure some stuff out. They start with PSG. I think that's an automatic loss, already behind the 8 ball right there. And then look, you have to make up from that. You have to go either to Newcastle, AC Milan. I can't be bothered to check. Mm-hmm. This is where I'm gonna disagree with you. I know we are big on AC Milan right now because of Christian Pulisic and because of Yunus Musa and because of that team and those Chelsea players getting out and going and having fun somewhere else. They're not as good as PSG. Mbappe basically got everybody he didn't want at PSG out and is now playing with Dembele and Marco Asensio up top. Last game, they got Ugarte, who is pretty good. They have a pretty solid back line, all things considered, and Donnarumma. I think PSG are 1. I don't think it's like a blowout or anything. I think they're going to be 1. I have Milan 2nd, Newcastle 3rd, and Dortmund 4th.
Yeah, I think the thing for me is like the Milan team has a lot of like battle-tested dudes that I think just want to scrap, just want to fight, just want to bite and claw and whatever. And I think in a competition like this, that's a difference maker. And say what you want about the talent of PSG, they definitely have it. They're just pretty. They're very French, in my opinion. They're very, very French.
They're even more French now.
Yeah, true, very true. But I do think we'd be pumped if Newcastle made it through. I just see them finishing 3rd.
You know what? I'm gonna say it. I wouldn't be. I hope they finish 3rd so I can knock them out of the Europa League too.
Good to hear. All right. Maybe the only English team making it through outside of Arsenal. I forgot that they're in it as well. We got Group G. I'm not going to say the correct pronunciation of Red Star because I didn't do the research beforehand to figure out how to do it. I think it's Schernesverda, whatever. You got Man City, Leipzig, and the youngest of all the boys, the Swiss champions in Group G. Michael, I think this one's pretty cut and dry.
Who's finishing last? I think it has to be Young Boys because even I told you even City going to Red Star will be an experience for sure. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, Red Star just have to beat Young Boys basically, and then like tie them or whatever, or maybe get a point off of Leipzig, which I think they also could do. This is a 18-pointer for you guys. Unless you play Leipzig last, in which case I think you would just sit everybody.
Yeah, which we did like last year with Salzburg.
Right, but if you play them like isn't it like 3rd and 4th you play the same team?
Yeah, it goes 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2.
Yeah, so if you play them like
second,
second or 3rd and 4th, like one of the first 4 games or both of them the first 4 games, I think you'll full battle tested team out there. Again, I can't be bothered to check, but it doesn't matter who you play against, Young Boys or Red Star. I think you beat them either way. I got you guys. I got Leipzig. I got Red Star, and then I got Young Boys.
Yeah, I think we could play our Young Boys against Young Boys and get the dub.
So good.
Not tall enough or old enough to ride this ride. City 1, Leipzig 2. One thing I will say, I think I kind of was shitting on the Bundesliga last group because of Dortmund. I think Leipzig's pretty good this season. If not for Harry Kane, I think they'd actually be pushing to maybe win the league, and maybe they still will. Who knows? And then I'm with you. I don't think Young Boys has an away atmosphere like Red Star, and I think that's the difference maker. They're at 3, and then you got the YBs at 4. Just happy to be there, much like Copenhagen. Just happy to be there.
Absolutely. Last group, Group H, we got Barcelona, the new look Spanish side under Xavi. We have FC Porto, Royal Antwerp, and then we have Shakhtar Donetsk, who is shockingly not in the same group as Manchester City. Brother, I mean, you got to switch Royal Antwerp and Shakhtar Donetsk, and that's the group, right?
No, disagree.
Wow.
I like I think that we've had some Portuguese slander on here because of Braga. Then we gave a lot of Portuguese flowers because we both really are impressed with Benfica. I'm not unimpressed with Porto. I think they're a tough out. They're a tough team to play against always. I just wanted to be on the record. Whenever there's an opportunity to back Ukraine, I do. So I got Shakhtar in second. Barcelona 1, Shakhtar 2, Porto 3, and Antwerp 4. No laughing. I'm sending them aid in a different way. I will say this though, that could be totally not correct. It could be. Just because this isn't a political podcast as much as Michael and I like to make it at sometimes. It's got to be really hard to be a Shakhtar player. Like, it just does. They haven't played in their actual home stadium, I think, for like 10 years now. So
10 years?
Yeah, because I believe the original stadium was in Crimea.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So wait, where do they play?
That I was literally on my walk with Josie, knowing we were doing this. I was trying to look it up, the stadium, and I never got that far because she started like eating poop, and then I freaked out, and then we moved on. But yeah, my heart of hearts, my humanitarian side is going Barcelona 1, Shakhtar 2, Porto 3, Antwerp 4.
So I'll say this: the only chance that Shakhtar have of finishing second is because Liverpool are not in the Champions League to beat FC Porto 8-2 in like the quarterfinals. So maybe that means FC Porto just doesn't make it to like the round of 16 quarterfinals, et cetera, et cetera. But I gotta be honest with you. Barcelona, FC Porto. I'm sticking with Shakhtar at third. They'll get some Europa League action. Royal Antwerp is going to be fourth for me.
Like I said, on the record, Whitaker brothers both pro-Ukraine.
Very much so.
And don't you fucking forget it. Michael, I got a few questions for you before we close this thing out. One, mention it now 5 times. Liverpool not in it. Not in it this year. Who are you putting your allegiances behind? Who's your favorite team in this to watch? Not who you think's going to win. Who are you going to root for?
So who will I like to watch or root for?
Root for first.
Okay, root for. Man, this is tough because there's like a lot of teams I don't like in this right now. Yikes. First off, I want to say the Americans playing in this, I'm going to root for you.
Yep.
Shout out to the boys in blue.
A pro-U.S. pro-Ukraine person, Michael Whitaker. You can take multitudes.
I am a known Borussia Dortmund fan. I just don't think they're going to be very good, and right now they're not very fun to watch. I do love Marco Reus, obviously. Dude, I think it has to be like Benfica. Like, that's who I'm going to root for. That's who I'm going to hope to God wins this, because it would be hilarious given everything we said. I'm going to enjoy watching Milan, and I'm going to enjoy watching that Group C, Union Berlin, Napoli, Real Madrid. I think I'm excited, weirdly, to watch Real Madrid, mostly out of pain that Jude Bellingham is there, and he's just absolutely lighting it up. But then other than that, honestly, I could care less. It's so weird. I'm so much more excited about the Conference League and Europa League
Oh,
because, well, it honest to God is not because of Liverpool in the Europa League. I want to watch Aston Villa's games in the Conference League, and I want to watch Brighton in the Europa League.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
And West Ham too.
Fair enough. So you're putting your rooting favors behind Benfica, and then your league pass, so to speak, team. The team that you're going to tune into is AC Milan, and then the group you said with Napoli, Union, and Real Madrid, essentially.
Yeah. If you have to do a league pass for one group, I think it's obviously Group F because it's just going to be like the best competition. But the next one where unfortunately Braga, you're going to be kind of a punching bag, is that Group C, Union, Napoli, Real Madrid.
Yeah. If you had to pick a Final Four and then a final, maybe even a winner.
Final Four.
What would you do? And caveat here, we don't know how the bracket's going to look, so this could be all four teams on one side, and it could never happen. But in your perfect scenario, who's your Final Four?
So basically just the top four here. Real Madrid. Obviously, you guys. Manchester City. I think Barcelona are so not ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
And in the same vein, I also think, to the degree that they think they are, I don't think Arsenal are ready for this either. PSG, and then Benfica. No. Benfica, Bayern, no PSG. Benfica, Bayern, Manchester City, Real Madrid.
I will do Bayern, Arsenal, City. I think it is Real Madrid. I was talking shit, but I think you're looking at these teams and it's just who do you want the final to be?
Benfica, Bayern.
Who do you think the final will be?
I think the two best teams are Real Madrid, Man City.
Yeah, I think the two best teams are probably Bayern, Man City. I think it's just Kane.
See, I don't think Bayern, apart from him, I think he's going to obviously tear it up against a lot of teams in the Bundesliga and a lot of teams in this as well. When they play like a proper team, I think it's going to be hit or miss with them.
I know I've said it before. I am poking the bear. In the knockouts, it's two legs. And watching that Real Madrid defense last season at City, it was like the season before never happened. All of my fears were alleviated. And I was like, oh, this team's not on the same league as us, not on the same planet. Obviously, City's going to be the favorite. I think it's really, really hard to say in a knockout tournament who's the favorite, who's actually going to win, who's probably going to repeat. But I've said it last year. If we didn't win the Champions League, there's no excuse. Same goes this year. I think we have the most talent by a couple people in this one, and it'll be interesting to see if they can repeat. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, will be super interesting.
Well, we'll have to. I mean, next week we'll do a Europa League breakdown. You can talk through Liverpool, how they're gonna raise another European trophy and have another night in Istanbul. Even though I don't think it's in Istanbul, I think it's somewhere else.
It is. I knew where it was, and now I forgot. I can't remember.
Champions League's Wembley, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Also, I just have to say, I know you are so much more excited. If not for your team in this competition, I know you're so much more excited for Europa and Conference.
Oh, I am. Yeah, same reasons as you.
Yeah.
I want,
100%.
But I loved being on social media, and I forget if it was TikTok or if it was like Instagram or whatever, and there was the reel that showed like the team stadium that had the train basically running through it, and was just like, just to let you know, this team was in the Europa League. I think they got knocked out in like the qualifications, and they're in the same competition that Liverpool's in. Liverpool could play at the stadium or some shit like that. So
yeah,
but I love weird little like enclaves of football in Europe. And, I can't wait to see Brighton take on Karabag or whoever. We'll see.
I thought you were going to say Carabao Cup.
No, the Karabag. I forget where they're from. Anyway, any last words?
Wow. I'm on here to check what your odds are to win the Champions League. What do you think they are?
Like plus whatever?
Yeah, well, like, what do you think the futures...
I think we're probably plus 280 to 320, somewhere around there.
You're plus 200.
Damn. That's fucked.
That's so disrespectful.
That's not even really worth betting it.
It isn't. It absolutely is not worth it.
Yeah. Kind of sucks.
That sucks.
Oh, well. We'll have to get Dylan and Nick on to chat about this a little bit. Dylan will have some interesting bets. We wanted to get a preview done and in the chamber to go out. Subscribe, watch this on YouTube. You can see our ugly mugs. You can see Michael, his camera glitching out a little bit here and there every once in a while.
Sorry.
You can see me go up and shut the door because Josie was making noise. But Champions League, we're 2 weeks away. Can City repeat? We'll have to see.
The NAFTA Podcast.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.